This is Brandon with 46 Overland Adventures. On this adventure, we find ourselves crossing the Mississippi River on our way to explore Cape Lookout National Seashore. The first leg of this journey will bring us to Talladega National Forest. This is where we'll spend the night tonight. The second leg of this journey will take us to Croatan National Forest, which puts us nice and close for the ferries on Wednesday morning. Look at this real quick. After approximately 780 highway miles, we pull into camp late, not sure what the sight would bring in the morning. With this beautiful trailside sunrise shedding light on this quick access campsite, it was definitely something that we would add to the list and maybe come back to and spend some more time.
What it's snoring, it was kind of like a
Sorry.
like a, oh, that's the cat purring. It's creeping up.
I heard him start sounding off. I thought, oh no, and then I went out.
After enjoying a good hearty breakfast of pancakes and sausage, it was soon time to tear down camp so we could get back on the road. We still have a good number of miles ahead of us. As we get on the road, the excitement builds as we discuss about the new opportunities and experiences we'll get to have on this adventure. One of which is floating the Jeeps across the coastal waterways with a ferry over to an island. But also, Branson's now a permitted driver, so he gets to enter the driver pool. After another hard day of traveling, a lot of highway miles, we find ourselves pulling into another late-night campsite. Again, not sure what this site will bring in the morning.
So what we cooking here, Mama?
We're having chicken noodle casserole tonight. Maybe a little bug on the side.
Maybe a little what now?
Bug on the side if I don't keep it out of my hair.
Another beautiful sunrise means the ferry day has finally arrived. As we grab a quick bite to eat and quickly pack up camp, we prepare to hit the road so we can make it to Davis, North Carolina, to be ready to be on the ferries. Now that we made it to Davis, it's time to find the ferry service and get checked in. While here, we'll also grab the last minute supplies we might need, like firewood.
Doing it.
As the ferry approaches, it's time to finish our last-minute preparations, get the dogs loaded up, and get the vehicles ready to be staged so we can be loaded.
I'll leave it fit right there.
Okay, Clark.
That's what he was measuring, is trying to figure out where to put me and where to put that truck.
driving. You see them lines up there on that screen, Honey Henry? All them black lines?
Just like a video
That's
game.
how many trips we make
It's all those
across.
lines.
As long as you keep that real dark one in the middle, that's how we go. We just follow them lines.
What do you want to do? Get him to stand up on that plate into the window. Let Dad see it.
After the ferry finishes its maneuvers to get turned around so we can disembark, it'll be time to head to the ranger station where we can get checked in, get last minute instructions, and show our driving permit that would allow us to drive on the island itself. After receiving our window decal at the ranger station, we begin our exploration by making our way through the Great Camp out to the beach, using the back road, which is a narrow sand road that travels most of the length of the island. The back road has several different areas where you can connect to the beach. Most of the time you just follow the signs and you can find your way out there. Just make sure to stay on the road, that way you don't damage the sensitive vegetation.
Oh, wow. First time I've ever seen the ocean. So we're supposed to camp on the wet sand?
This might work for a quick stop. want to go all the way to the point, or do you want to go up and look at the lighthouse area first?
As we got closer to the lighthouse, we found a section of beach that was closed off for pedestrians only. This made for a great photo opportunity before we hit the back roads. Once we got off the beach and onto the back roads, we found that the signs made it really easy to navigate as we made our way to find a parking spot so we could go hike up and actually look at and explore around the lighthouse. As we get deeper into the island and further away from the oceanside beach, we found a large or moderately sized forested area with decent sized trees, provided a nice parking space for rigs whenever the storms roll in if you're on the island. As we explore along the boardwalk, we're thankful of the shade provided by the trees. After venturing through the convenience stop area, we pop back out to the beach that's now on the south side of the island. This beach is pedestrian only and for day use.
What is Overland Adventures? I'm seeing it on all of them.
So 46 Overland Adventures is just a YouTube channel we started just to document our travels. So 46 being Oklahoma, 46 State of the Union, that is where we're from. So it's my family and then my uncle traveled with us. We have 2 Jeeps. So this trip is 2 Jeeps, 5 people, 3 dogs for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And you started in Oklahoma.
Started in Oklahoma Monday morning.
Oh, that's what we love, is just seeing people from all over. It's just a free growing.
We've done this now. This is our 24th year of working for Cape Lookout. And most of the time it's been up at the northern tip, right across from Oklahoma. There's a village. 28, 26, early 27, you'll be able to climb it again. This is the oldest, and it's not as well designed as the other lighthouses. The steps, giant cast iron column running in the middle. There's 212 steps. They're screwed into the cast iron column, which is great. But then the other end is screwed into the bricks. And 7 coats of paint. And the bricks can't breathe and they're beginning to disintegrate. And so when we clean those steps, we get handfuls of brick dust and chips and everything. And so now the steps wobble. And you don't feel comfortable climbing it with those steps wobble.
Right.
Every lighthouse along the coast has a different design on it. And the reason for that, the lighthouses have the light at night and they blink at a different time. We blink once every 14 seconds. So a ship at the sea would look at that, check its chart, say, once every 14 seconds, this is Cape Lookout. Hatteras maybe blinks 2 or 3 times, I don't know, 2 or 3 times every 10 seconds. But during the day, you can't see the light, but you can see the pattern. See the diamond, Hatteras is the barber pole, Bodie, it's horizontal stripes. Down at the far end is Corolla. It's never been painted into its red brick. And so the sea captain looks at it with a telescope, sees the red brick or sees the diamond, and he knows where he is. That's how they navigated with the lighthouse.
That's cool.
But the original lighthouse, if you walk out to the beach on that path there, you'll see 2 big mounds. The original lighthouse was built in 1812, and next to it is the keeper's building. They had 12 kerosene lamps with pieces of shiny tin in back, And the sea captains complained that they couldn't see it. They would actually say, we're going to run aground trying to see that light. So they built this one, and they put what they call a Fresnel lens, named after a Frenchman who invented it. And there's 3 orders of Fresnel lens. First order is what we have here. It's 6 feet tall, 10 feet wide, and 2,400 pounds, and it has 2,000 pieces of glass in it. And the flame is about like this, kerosene or whale oil. And so what happens, this flame is passed around inside till it goes out, and it'll go out about 20 miles. Wow. As a beam of light. So to answer your question, when they, in the 1950s, when they decided to cut down the services, Coast Guard ran them, they decided to automate it. And they ran a big electrical cable underwater from Parker's Island and put in an airport beacon. And they took our Fresnel lens down and put it in a warehouse in Norfolk. And so we've asked our congressional folks
Well, we're going to go
see from the Coast Guard if we can get a Fresnel lens put over on display over there. And they go from order 1, which we have, to 2 to 3, and 3 is like a big garbage can, a little small, waste can. And so then they put in the airport beacon, and then after about 35 years, this underwater line started shorting out. And so instead of running it again, they put in about 150 solar panels that we have here. And they took down that airport beacon because it was pulling too much power, and they put in an LED light. So to answer your question, after that long discussion, it blinks every 15 seconds or so, but it doesn't sweep like the others.
After being able to spend a few minutes with the caretakers, getting to learn all about the lighthouse and its history, it was time for us to continue our exploration and adventure on the island. The lighthouse is very impressive from a distance, and even hearing about the history and how it was built and when and why. Being next to it at the base was still an entirely different experience. After exploring around the base of the lighthouse and surrounding areas for a little bit longer, we decided it's time to head back to the Jeeps and go find the south end of the island. I stopped at the souvenir shop to grab some additional supplies and a little bit more sunscreen. With no shade on the island, sunscreen is definitely a must.
Wow, this is beautiful.
Okay,
this is even prettier than the other side.
We can park right there. No, there.
This has got to be that area that one guy was trying to recommend to us as a good place to camp.
The south point of the island is impressive. Wide, vast, open sands, but little shelter, so not something that we want to stay at very long. After looking around the south point for just a little while, we decide it's time to get away from the crowds and go find a place to camp that's sheltered It'd be nice to set up camp before dark this time. We were able to find an excellent spot to camp. Wide open sands to the beach, lots of space, we're not interrupted by other vehicles traveling, but also a good dune behind us to help protect from some of the wind. Now it's just time to sit back, relax, and maybe even take a nap. Relaxing evening, taking in the views, and even getting to see some natural artwork as the wind blows the blades of grass to create artwork in the sand.
Here in Cape Lookout, the sunset is amazing. If you're ever in North Carolina, it's definitely worth a stop by. I just can't wait to see what the sunrise is tomorrow morning if that's the sunset. That's God's creation firsthand. It's amazing.
This morning's sunrise on the beach definitely did not disappoint. We decided to take and have a quick breakfast this morning, get packed up, and continue exploring the island. On our way to go explore the north point of the island, we made a quick stop by the great cabins to top up the water after being able to shower off the night before. We had depleted a good majority of our water supply. The further north we go on the island, the more narrow it becomes, and this also leads to a significant change in vegetation. Both ends of the island so far are presented as unique and also beautiful in each of their own way. Once we get back out to the beach from the short distance on the back road, we do notice that the water is definitely a lot more rough here than it is on the south point. The north end is also where the island used to continue on before a hurricane actually made a separate inlet and separated these two islands. The north point of the island does share a similar feature as the south, is that there's no dunes for protection. So we decide to head back, let the dogs rest, and find a more sheltered beach to spend the rest of the afternoon. Closer back to the lighthouse, we find another section of beach that's wide open, allows enough room for traffic to get around us. So we set up for some water time, pull out the solar panels to top off the batteries, and just relax for the rest of the afternoon. Now it's time to move across the beach closer to the dunes so we can set up camp for the night and find something to eat for supper. As Jeff and Ashley get the food out and find a place to set the table so we don't have to sand in the food, Triton and Branson are getting the fires up and going so we can cook some hot dogs. Meanwhile, I'm setting up our high-end deluxe edition sand anchors. So far, these sand anchors have proven to be very useful and easy to pack. Just dump the sand out when you're done, put the bags either in the trash or back in the rig to be used again.
Want something to cook off, I'll give you some. That mercy, Vic.
As we start to settle in for the evening, finishing up our cooking our hot dogs on the fire, we all agree Cape Lookout and the South Core Island has definitely been an enjoyable 2 days of exploring. But tomorrow we will pack up and head back across the ferry to continue our adventure elsewhere. This morning's sunrise brings a few surprises. With the storms that are north of us, we're able to miss the rain, which we're thankful for, but this also caused the wind to die down, which means the no-see-ums, very small flies, were there in abundance. Thankfully, not too long after the sun came up, the wind picked back up and the no-see-ums disappeared. We were able to enjoy the rest of the morning and our breakfast in relative peace. Now it's time to pack up camp and head to the Great Island Campground so we can get some showers and feel fresh before heading back to the ferry to wait our turn. While waiting for the ferry to come in, we're able to talk to some other folks that are in line and share our experiences and hear theirs as well. As the ferry nears the other side, we can't help but look back and feel privileged about the memories and experiences we made on this adventure.
See you guys, safe travel.
Out here getting fuel and we got ducked. They did too. It's an interesting duck.
After getting gas and airing up the tires, we decided it'd be best to go ahead and wash the Jeeps to get the salt sprays and the sands off of it before continuing our adventure into the hill country and woods of northern Georgia in the Blue Ridge Mountains. If you would like to see how this adventure continues, make sure to like and subscribe and enable notifications. Sandy bottoms. We already had that.
Handsome. Videotaping this.